Hi, the dandelions are just starting to bloom, so we're putting some supers onto our strongest hives. And this is a strong hive. Let me just show you what the bottom level looks like. And you can see this is very, very populated in the top level. I've already cracked the two boxes apart, so it'll be easy to show you the bottom. What I'm going to do here, since it's so populous, is put a super of foundation on and get some nice comb drawn. What you need to get comb created is a strong population and a good nectar flow, or syrup being fed in place of the good nectar flow. I'm putting this super on without a queen excluder, because without the queen excluder, they'll get up into this box of foundation and get working on it really quickly. After they've made comb in the super, I'm going to examine it, make sure the queen is not in it, and put a queen excluder below the super. If I find that there's brood in it, I will find the queen and move her down into the brood chambers. And that brood in the super will just continue to develop and emerge as new honeybees, and that's fine. The bees will fill in those empty cells with nectar at that point. I'm also going to put a super on this other hive, but this super will have comb in it, not foundation. And in this case, I will put the queen excluder on right now, above the brood chamber and below the super. And remember, this keeps the queen in the brood chamber, so she can't lay eggs up in the super. It excludes her from the super. The reason for the queen excluder immediately in this case is that the comb in the super would be immediately attractive to the queen. So it's not like with foundation, and then she can't lay eggs on foundation for a while. She would be up in the super and laying eggs. At Better Bee, we generally use plastic queen excluders. They're a little cheaper, they're a little lighter. You just have to bend them back, kind of curl them back to remove them, and it comes off easily without that kind of snap up as the metal queen excluders sometimes do. Yes, this is a deep box as a super, which is unusual for some people to see. Most people use medium boxes for their supers, but it's still a super because that is the word for the box honey gets collected in. So here you can see I have just 9 frames in this. And again, that's so that later when the bees are capping the honey in each frame, they make the cappings a little puffed out from the side of each frame. And that will give us an easier time uncapping. Bees only extend nectar and honey cells like this. They don't extend the depth of brood cells because brood is always a certain length. The body of the brood, as it's developing, stops at a certain length, but honey cells can get deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm spacing these out by hand and just eyeballing the space between them, making it an equal distance between each frame. But there is a tool that you can get that will space your frames out 9 in a box or 8 in a box, and I think it's called a frame spacer. So there's the first super on. It's April 30th in upstate New York, and we're just beginning to see dandelions. So we're getting ahead of the game, giving the bees more room so that they don't put all that soon-to-be incoming nectar into the brood box. We're giving them this super to put nectar into. So the inner cover, remember in the spring, you want the thinner side downwards. And the easy way to remember that is that the notch is cut into the thicker side of the rim. Don't put the thicker side down, because then there's a lot of clearance above the top bars and under this inner cover, and the bees will build a lot of crazy comb in that gap. So notch up means the thin side is down. That's good for spring and summer when they're doing comb building. You could leave the notch up all the time, but flipping it over so that the notch is down in fall and winter gives them just a little bit easier time exiting the brood chamber, and they can go straight through the notch out for a cleansing flight. This is a plastic note card that we refresh once a year for each colony. Just the briefest of notes in permanent marker, and we keep it inside between the covers so the sun doesn't fade the writing. And the plastic card is nice because the bees can't chew it apart. We keep one piece of rigid foam insulation between the covers, too. And that's year-round. It helps the bees regulate the temperature in their hive. When you put the outer cover on, just make sure you don't close the little notch at the inner cover rim. You have to slide that outer cover up against the back end of the hive, so that keeps the notch at the front exposed under the overhang of the outer cover. The last thing to do is for us to tighten up the strap on the hive so the wind doesn't blow the cover off. You might use a large rock or a brick or something like that, but even these heavy wood and metal covers will blow off in a strong wind. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and try subscribing to our Better Bee YouTube channel.